Shalom, everyone. It's Amir Tsarfati. I'm live here from Southern California, and you probably heard the big news. The big news that President Trump requested Netanyahu to hold the fire with Hezbollah for 10 days, and a ceasefire has been declared between Israel and Hezbollah. And not only that, the president also said that he talked both to Netanyahu and President Joseph Aoun of Lebanon, and he's going to invite both of them to the White House. And apparently, Lebanon will be added to the Abraham Accords somehow. Now, probably you're asking yourself, what's going on here? Well, apparently, the pressure on Iran is working, but Iran needed some achievement. And Iran kind of requested that the ceasefire will include Lebanon in order to show that it still has some control and some say, and somehow will be perceived as a guardian of its own proxies. However, everybody in Lebanon understands that it's not Iran's strength that led to the ceasefire, but it's Hezbollah's weakness, Iran's weakness, and it's the strength of the possibility to achieve peace with Lebanon, which is a nightmare for Hezbollah, because for them, Israel is to be destroyed, not to be a partner for peace with their country. Now, Prime Minister Netanyahu updated both his cabinet and the people of Israel, and he said, look, when a president asks for something like that, you don't say no, especially not when this president was fighting with you shoulder to shoulder in order to remove the existential threat from Iran. The big news, though, came minutes later when President Trump said live on camera that Iran has agreed to hand over its nuclear something, which means the enriched uranium, hand over to the United States. In other words, Iran is willing to give up its nuclear dream in order to survive. And for that, President Trump said, well, in that case, I am going to ask Bibi for a ceasefire. And when Bibi Netanyahu heard that, he said, well, if we can get 2-4, no nuclear program for Iran, and peace with Lebanon, why not? Prime Minister Netanyahu agreed. We still have a problem. Hezbollah still has some rockets, not ballistic missiles, but rockets, and we will need to take care of that. But Israel, and now comes another point that you have to understand. Remember, the last ceasefire, Israel remained in 5 different points. Now Israel is not in 5 different points anymore. Israel is deep into Lebanon, 10 kilometers all the way inside to eliminate 2 threats. One, anti-tank shoulder missile that can hit Israeli homes. That's it. We pushed them all the way to the point that that range is no longer there available for them. And the second threat is, of course, ground invasion. Now the IDF is all the way in. There's not going to be ground invasion of Hezbollah terrorists into Israel. The amazing thing is that Hezbollah insisted that if there is a ceasefire, Israel must completely withdraw from Lebanon and not attack at any scenario. Whereas Netanyahu said, no, 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 we're staying where we are. And if there is a threat that we see, we will respond, just like we did last time. So basically, if everything is going to work according to the plan, in the coming 10 days, Iran will agree to hand over the enriched uranium to America and to give up its nuclear program completely. Israel, the prime minister will go to Washington, and apparently both the president of Lebanon and the Israeli prime minister will be invited together to the White House to meet with President Trump together and to try to achieve. Look, there is no problem between us and Lebanon. Hezbollah is the problem. And the Lebanese know that. More and more and more people in Lebanon are saying, this is not our fight. Iran is fighting Israel from within Lebanon using its arm, Hezbollah. The Lebanese people want peace with Israel. Israel has no territorial demands from Lebanon. Lebanon has almost no territorial demands from Israel. We can work on in a minor little corrections along the border. That's never been the issue. The issue was that Lebanon has two armies, the official armed forces and Hezbollah, which is 10 times stronger. And Hezbollah is so strong and so frightening that his, Lebanon was paralyzed. Lebanon had basically a state within a state, and southern Lebanon was like another state by itself. And now this is gone. All of the southern Lebanese strongholds of Hezbollah are gone. We're erasing them one after the other. If you follow me on Telegram, you see that. But now Israel, for the next 10 days, will not be able to attack elsewhere and will only respond to threats. But the amazing thing is, we stay in Lebanon until Hezbollah is disarmed, which can take years. So that's it. Hezbollah is committed not to fight. Israel is committed not to respond, but Israel is inside. Israel is no longer waiting for them to invade. That's it. We're inside. We're 10 kilometers deep inside. There's a thick, very, very strong security zone between us and where Hezbollah might be. That's it. And as far as I'm concerned, this situation can last for years. And if during that we can still have peace with Lebanon, even more so. Now, it's not going to be until Hezbollah is disarmed, we can never really have peace with Lebanon, because peace means opening embassies, allowing tourism and trade and commerce and all of that. You can't do that when Hezbollah is armed and threatening people. So whatever is going to happen, the Lebanese military slash government will have to do something. We are doing the cleaning operation in southern Lebanon, so it won't affect our area. But at some point, the big storage of drones and rockets will have to be taken or destroyed. That's it. Hezbollah has never been weaker. Iran has never been weaker. Hamas has never been weaker. And in the coming week, Israel is going to commemorate both the Memorial Day for the fallen soldiers and Independence Day comes right after that. And the 78th Independence Day of Israel will be marked by Israel controlling 53% of Gaza, 10 kilometers deep into Lebanon, a few kilometers deep into Syria, and the entire range of Mount Hermon. We've never been stronger. And the amazing thing is, our economy is blooming. Our stock market is skyrocketing. Our currency has never been. It is so strong right now. The dollar used to be sometimes 4.5 shekels per dollar. Now it's less than 3. For the first time since the 1990s, it's less than $3, less than 3 shekels for a dollar. The Israeli currency is super strong. The stock market is super strong. Our inflation rate is below 2%. Our unemployment is down in one of the lowest we've ever had. And all of that in the middle of a war of almost 2.5 years, existential one. That's not us, that's God. So, breaking news, ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, brokered by President Trump. In fact, at the request of President Trump. He wants to communicate with the Iranians and get the most out of that without having to deal with Israel and Lebanon. And we are giving him those 10 days. Why not? If it's only 10 days and it will lead to peace with Lebanon and to have the Iranians handing over the enriched uranium to America, I mean, we can't say no to that one. Plus, we're not even evacuating where we are. We're staying in Lebanon and we are going to respond to any threat. Great victory, good news, amazing, amazing breaking news. President Trump again said that Iran has agreed. Again, I don't know if it's going to happen, but he just said that on live TV, that Iran has agreed to hand over the enriched uranium to America and give up its nuclear program. That's the price they had to pay in order not to be attacked again. And make no mistake, the Americans continue to bring more reinforcement, more troops, more ground troops, more Air Force, more equipment, more munition. No one is easing it on the Iranians. The Iranians are watching America getting ready for round two, and they don't want that because what happened in the last few days since the ceasefire was brokered with Iran, America is watching Iranians coming out of their holes. So we know now exactly what needs to be destroyed again. We know exactly who is still alive, what has been saved, and what has been destroyed. We replenished all of our target bank. In fact, War Secretary Hegseth warned the people of Iran, and he said the following thing. And you know, I'm on Telegram. You can see that. But War Secretary Hegseth said the following thing. Are you with me? Watch this. He said, "We are the Iranian military and the IRGC. We know what military assets you are moving and where you are moving them to. We are reloading with more than ever before," he said. Okay, it's a threat that cannot be, and President Trump also said, if there's no deal, we resume the war. We're not going to extend ceasefire. He understands how they work. They want to drag their feet. No, either a deal or we resume the war. And trust me, the Iranian central bank already told the government that the country is in shambles. So all I'm saying, folks, is this. Breaking news. President Trump said that Iran has agreed to give up its nuclear program and hand over the enriched uranium. He asked Netanyahu to have a ceasefire with Lebanon for 10 days to allow a possibility for a peace agreement with Lebanon. And President Trump said he's going to host both leaders in the White House in order to add Lebanon to the Abraham Accords. Look, will that work? I don't know. Will that happen? I don't know. I know one thing. Lebanon is not part of the attacking coalition against Israel. It's not mentioned in Ezekiel. And I also know that the IRGC or the Ayatollahs must stay in power for them to join Russia against us. So it makes sense. Everything makes sense to me, at least. So I'll keep updating you more, but let's see what happens. Stay tuned on Telegram. I'm updating you 24/7. And if you're in Southern California, see you in less than 2 weeks. I'm speaking at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills. Brand new message. Can't wait to share with you. I'm working on it right now. As well as, of course, Reno, Nevada, Proximity Conference, and Calvary OC Central. Lots to do in the next few days. Thank you. God bless. Share this video with as many as you can. Bye-bye.